Once this workout gets going, I gotta show you an article the Zommunique just put out on covering the big spin and basically the psychological implications of introducing gambling into a fitness activity where fitness is the driving force for the gambling. Because up until now, that's not really been a thing. Zwift inadvertently opened a can of worms that they didn't even know they opened. Never before, at least clinically, observably, have psychologists looked at gambling from a perspective of you have to put physical effort in to gamble for the loot crates and the psychological implications that come with that. And I thought it was just super fascinating. There is a lot of... Zwift was playing some serious psychological games. All right, guys, here we go. You gotta check this out. You haven't seen the article, but you'd love to read it here. Okay, so I'll drop the link, and then we'll read it together. Dude, Chris puts out some really well-sourced articles. So here we go, guys. The Zwift Big Spin, the fitness phenomenon that's sweeping the metaverse. Should we worry? The only online sport requiring physical effort to gamble, says an esport gambling researcher, has some health professionals concerned. Believe it or not, not everyone possesses the intrinsic drive to exercise. Weird, I know. While dedicated cyclists may find it natural to prioritize physical activity, many casual exercisers struggle to justify the time, fit it into their busy schedules, or summon the energy needed to engage in dreaded workouts. According to industry trend website Zippa, the fitness industry anticipates a growth of over 170% by 2028 to almost 435 billion, with online fitness experiencing a 33% increase yearly. The stark reality is that much of this cash will be spent persuading someone to do something they don't desire. This is not written for us, y'all. This is not written from the perspective of most of us, that's for sure. For many cyclists, riding the turbo fits firmly into the category of necessary evils. Oh, those poor people. Virtual cycling platform Zwift has revolutionized the way cyclists consume indoor training by gamifying the experience, and millions of users are reaping the health benefits. Yearly tours of Zwift Metaverse, such as Tour of Watopia. It's weird he keeps saying Metaverse. It's a little weird. A little dystopic. Tour of Zwift attract thousands of users per ride in search of fun training atmosphere and in-game incentives, including kit unlocks, route and achievement badges, and other digital badges to accessorize their avatars. The Zwift Big Spin has the virtual cycling world abuzz. They have never seen anything like the Big Spin before, and it shows, with swarms of users showing up for each of the hourly non-competitive group rides and setting the virtual cycling world abuzz. Guys, we were talking about this. We were talking about that the Big Spin is going to make Zwift look so good because so many people are going to ride it over and over and over again. And it's true. It's true. Zwift wanted to design a direct tour for non-competitive users to complement the Zwift Games series of races held concurrently on the platform, which killed the Zwift Games, by the way, in my opinion. It was the death of the Zwift Games when they did the Big Spin. Non-competitive, yeah, it's always a race. The idea of the Big Spin was to create a fun game show style experience where Zwifters are rewarded for every ride they complete. Maybe. Or the potential. The Big Spin wheel allows us to be creative with a host of new game unlocks, all unique to the Zwift Big Spin, explains Zwift PR director Chris Schwenker. We all need to write Chris. We all need to get his contact information. The event, which began on March 11, 2024, offers 4-week-long stage set in different regions of the Zwift map, followed by 2 makeup weeks. Unlike the previous popular Zwift tours of a similar format, all participants competing in a stage get a chance to unique. Okay, we know how it works. Okay, yeah, it's like the Alp to Zwift one. We took the same concept from Alp to Zwift to reward Zwifters for each ride completed. Each stage offers 8 rewards. And confirmed, there was probability tiers, guys, like we thought. Tier 1, low probability, had 1 item. 5 in Tier 2, medium. And 2 in Tier 3, high. Percy, what's up, dude? Welcome in. Good to see you. How you doing? A few clubs switched to riding the Big Spin together because it did flight. It was immediately noticeable The moment Big Spin came out, the Zwift Games, which previously had hundreds of people every race, just completely tanked. It's the first time we've offered Zwifters the chance to collect a host of limited edition unlocks purely based on chance. So it gives Zwifters motivation to turn and complete stages more than once. Zwift Big Spin is attracting more riders and keeps them coming back. Oh, I'm supposed to have high RPM. Screw that. Some many more than once. The top 20 participants spun the big wheel over 850 times during the first 2 weeks, with the grand prize going to the one who completed the event almost 70 times. That was Fezwheel. By the way, guys, I don't know if it was, but it was Fezwheel. He was the guy who did it 70 times. A significantly greater number of Zwifters participated in the Big Spin overall than the Zwift Games, and for a considerably longer time per day. The number of users finishing multiple Big Spin events was almost 8 times greater. Like what? Zwifters can't get enough of the Big Spin, as you can tell by the engagement to the Zwift Facebook group posts that received more than 100 comments in 2 days. One said, "I was off work, so I did it all day and got 15 spins." Another shared, "I burned 6,000 calories in 2 days trying to unlock the bike alone." You did it 7 times, Rick? Dude, that's the thing, right? People are doing these multiple times. Well, another boasted, "Took me 16 tries in 1 week to get the Atomic Cruiser." Rookie numbers. But, dude, so many people face that exact same thing. The animated cartoon caricature bikes are in high demand and keep them coming back again and again, whereas Zwifters report receiving more socks, glasses, and hats than they know what to do with. Still think you got so lucky? Never doubled up? How is that possible? That's gotta be very unique. I don't think I've heard anyone who got him first try. You've only done like 3 or 4 spin rides? Dude, all you really need. Everything else is minor. Maybe the wheels. Like, I wanted the headphones, but if I didn't get them, it would have been like, I would have been less pissed off compared to like, if I hadn't got the wheels. Yo, Doc, good to see you, man. The animated, okay, blah, blah, blah. Therein lies the mystery of the Big Spin allure. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and the users pursuing the Atomic Cruiser may be beholden to motivational forces more powerful than they know. Now here we go. Now we're getting into the psychology. All that stuff you already knew. According to Mindful Child and Family Therapy founder Jacqueline Long, intermittent rewards are incredibly addictive and can increase the risk of engagement in unhealthy behaviors. Really, Rick? That was your training motivation? They talk about that. Here, I'll definitely get into that. But that's part of the thing they highlight, was that the Big Spin isn't intrinsically destructive. It really highlights the human characteristic and the individuality of it. In the cycling world, riddled with perfectionists and overachievers, offering intermittent rewards might lead to an increased risk of injury due to overtraining and the emotional toll that increased pressure and resulting anxiety might put on an already strained system. The unlimited availability and insidious built-in gamified structural elements reinforce habitual behaviors. Introducing rewards conceptually changes the user's purpose for pedaling, from pushing a healthy lifestyle to unhealthy quests for intermittent gratification. I guess if you're not naturally, if you're an addictive person, or if you already have a tendency to gambling, I could see this being destructive. But I've also talked about the other side, where things like the Big Spin, because I have nothing else really to do on Zwift other than, of course, just ride and get fit. But as far as like activities, there's not much to do after a certain point. And so to me, it's motivational, even if it is annoying with the chance. Anyway, the unlimited availability, oh wait, I said that. Okay, BF Skinner first described this theory as variable schedule of rewards, or intermittent reinforcement, in the 1950s. His theory had 2 powerful behavior modifying benefits. So he noted some benefit. Yeah, Rick. And that's something they highlight too. Like if you're in a training thing and then this comes up and you're a completionist, uh-oh. It leads to, It leads to more instances of the behavior compared to a set of scheduled rewards. and the behaviors are hard to extinguish, meaning they persist over time, even if you remove the random reward. So is that saying this basically can be a catalyst for you to get back into something? Most Zwifters don't see the harm in it, and I think this is true. A Zwifter since 2016, and casual gamer Sean McAfee recognized the strategy, and it doesn't seem to faze him. MMO games like EverQuest and World of Warcraft drive increased gameplay through rewards from RNG. In these games, loot tables or boxes are mystery bundles of virtual items, blah blah blah, you know this. With other in-game incentives, you know what you're achieving, but the contents of a loot box are entirely down to chance. Several countries have banned the use of the video game's design concept because it's believed to expose children to the addictive nature of gambling. I see that. Is that why after doing the big spins you immediately went down the street to this casino? I was wondering, dude, why I went and immediately bought some Powerball tickets. Big spin or you wouldn't stop. Yeah, good call, Rick. It is a thing. Humans are addictive creatures. That's how we survive. Back into playing LePage. That's pretty funny if that's true. Okay, the Zwift equivalent mirrors this concept, and surprisingly it took them this long to implement it. Completing the route is akin to slaying a monster and getting a chance at a loot table. We've all, I think, seen this meme by now. Maybe everyone. For some healthcare professionals, the benefit outweighs the risk. Hospitalist, USA Cycling Esports National Age Group Champion, and USAC Esports Committee member Dr. Jen Rial echoes the pragmatic perspective and the popular sentiment of the large Zwift community. I love the big spin. The randomness keeps it fun and entertaining and provides extra motivation. Keeps me on the trainer when you usually have to stop because you wanted those darn headphones. I don't really think there's anything negative about it. Zwift does a great job of keeping otherwise boring training fun. It wouldn't have been as fun without the late join though. I'm gonna be the person that says that out loud. If they hadn't have done the late join, I don't think fun would have been in the same context. The psychology of random rewards is fascinating, and it explains the massive success of the big spin compared to other events when there's set unlocks. Licensed psychologist Lisa Macias, PhD, who treats many athletes and addicts, offers more sobering perspective. It is commonly believed that financial reward is a primary motivator for gambling. Interestingly, dopamine, a neurotransmitter that affects the brain's reward system associated with pleasure, motivation, and mood, released from gambling is related to the unpredictability of the reward. Pairing intense physical activities such as biking, which triggers dopamine release, with intermittent rewards, may result in extra dopamine. A heightened dopamine reaction to the exercise and gambling stimulus has the potential to create difficulties with impulse control, a driver for addictive and compulsive behaviors. The risk of exercise addiction, overreaching, overtraining, and burnout are inherent in the cycling population. I've been there multiple times. A lot of us have been there. Whereas where the temptation to ride harder and longer is omnipresent. Leaderboards, ride streaks, leveling up, challenges, sprints, KQOM segments, to name a few, are all contribute to a competitive environment, amplified by the presence of fellow riders. Research indicates that such a scenario drives individuals to push themselves harder and work longer. The combination can have potentially harmful effects. They need to do a case study of this community. I need to get in contact with Dr. Lisa Macias and tell her she needs to do a case study of our crazy asses if she wants to support this statement more, because I think we're a perfect data point to support her claim. People hating? No, Beer. This is kind of a neutral article. It's looking at both sides. But I like the fact that Chris here, the writer, is looking at both sides, because I think that is really necessary. There is the side of that it can be motivating, but there's also the side that it can be destructively addictive. And that's kind of the argument. For some people, for most people probably, they can compartmentalize it a little bit. You know, they can see that it is a gambling, it's a loot box, but you know, they can prioritize a little bit better. You know, they see it for what it is, a good training thing. But there are definitely going to be those people who it can have a negative or adverse effect to. Checks all of your boxes. Okay, we can be addicted to Z2 and feel good, or we can get fat, go do drugs, get drunk, and kill ourselves. Exactly, beer. You know what's up, but at the same time, you also know that incentives to stay on the bike keep you on the bike maybe longer than you had intended, therefore creating some destructive tendencies. And they're just kind of highlighting that though most people, you know, they'll get over it if they didn't unlock one of the items. Yeah, I might be a little upset, but there are truly people out there, and probably more than we'd like to acknowledge, considering that people who are addicted to Zwift probably have a high potential to be, you know, addicted to other activities. So it's kind of interesting. I think most of us can't relate to it, so we kind of, you know, take that side because we see all the positive benefits. A lot of us have come from a, you know, more destructive past, and then through cycling, they've, you know, turned their life around in some way. Exercise highs from dopamine is a love-hate. Yeah, man. I've gone through major periods of overtraining because I just freaking love riding so much that I hurt myself. It's stupid, and I see it, and I see these patterns, and it's taken me a long time to learn anything from it. They just overeat, drink, or do drugs. Yeah, they would, beer. And that's another thing, man. You bring up a point. We're creatures of addiction, meaning that we will find it somewhere. And again, it's all relative to the other addictive tendencies in your life. All of this is truly personal. And what it really comes down to is be critical in your thinking, be critical in your decision making. You know, take a second to think about what you're doing, which can be hard for people when they're in the moment. Cycling has helped you learn moderation better than any other habitual activity. That's sick, Rick. And I think that's the common thing, dude. I think right there, that is the common situation for most people. But the Zwift community itself is a spectrum. So, you know, there are some people that probably had some negative effects. But if they're addictive personalities already, would that negative effect be worse than the negative effect of doing that other activity over there as opposed to cycling? It's a tough situation. And I think that's why Chris here is highlighting both sides, because there is no right answer. There's not really a right answer. Yeah, the consequences are apparent, Rick. And that's another thing that's healthy about cycling, is the association of the risk versus reward is very apparent. You wake up the next day and you can't get out of bed, you know you overdid it. The cause and reflects the outcome. The causation is there. Your brain can get that. But addicts have trouble processing at that level. Cross-trainer thrower. Yeah, you guys know. You guys know. But I guess try to empathize a little bit with people who may have negative outcomes. Overall, in the big scheme of things, are those negative outcomes as bad as others? No, probably not, but still. And we talk about that all the time, moderation. Just because you don't do something doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself every once in a while. You know, GCN recently released a video, and it's kind of funny. Ollie talks about that. He talks about, like, don't get so caught up sometimes that you don't go out and hang out with your friends. You don't go enjoy an evening with your friends or your family. Like, balance in all things, you know? Who is friends? Oh, no. Now we dive into even a deeper sociological issue. All right, anyway. We talk combination can have potentially harmful effects. In the case, an altered mental state, motivation, and the perceived value of random reward challenge, the hallmarks of an athlete's training regime. Train, recover, supercompensate, and improve. It does. It breaks the cycle. It can. Dr. Bryce Dyer, co-author of the December 23 paper, An Investigation into Attitudes of Virtual Cycling Participants Regarding Avatar Body Weight Manipulation and Weight Doping. Are you serious? Was that a thing? Is that why they opened up the body types? I'll still be on the side that seeing how big someone's avatar is part of the tactics of the game. So that's a bit annoying to me that it was opened up. It doesn't really matter, and most people won't give a shit. But at least on the racing side, I came to recognize, you know, a big, beefy, yoked avatar, because they're also in my B group, means they are a raw watt monster. I could know that just by seeing it, knowing that they had B watt per kilo, but are a big avatar, so they have high raw watts. Instant identification. You know what I mean? So it's not good that you change yours to the biggest available. I have any. Hell yeah, dude. We call that manorexia, and that actually is a thing too. The beefy avatar. Yeah. I know. I almost did it too, Ivan. I thought it was funny. I was like, I can finally roleplay my ideal physique. But in the you get it because you're a racer. But as you know, a casual, it doesn't really matter. But a racer, the avatar that the person has is a tell of the type of rider they may be. Well, okay, they detailed in this report feels that a certain degree of ethical dialogue is required by the technology creators when introducing such products or initiatives. Otherwise, they can unknowingly create what are known as unwanted consequences or revenge effects. I think people just need to be raised understanding that you need to be confident with yourself, but also always trying to achieve a betterment of yourself. I think we just need to change the dialogue a little bit. Maybe that's ignorant of me though. Yeah, all the avatars are buff. That's the thing, right? Even if you're a heavy duty diesel engine beast out there, like, at least you look like you're a freaking bodybuilder. Yeah, but apparently it was flight. I didn't realize it either, but it was apparently an issue with Zwifters. Do you even lift bra? It's been about 5 or 6 years, Pain, since I've lifted a bra, but, you know, hopefully again soon. I'm always hopeful. Oh, rip the single life. You like to pretend you're swole, yeah. Yeah, Ivan, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I agree. More granularity. Your bra just lists. The extra support is godly. Gain goblins. Yeah, dude. But there is like that devil and angel on the shoulder thing with cycling, just like everything else. Okay, there's a heightened risk with the big spin due to an unintended performance-based incentive. The first ever esport requiring physical effort to gamble. Zwifters quickly realized that finishing the event before the 30-minute late join cutoff opens up the chance to re-enter the event multiple times, increasing the opportunity to acquire a random reward. It has led to a large group of riders pushing themselves to the limit to complete approximately 11-mile course on time, with some participating several times a day. Dr. Andrew Richardson, research associate at Newcastle University in Gambling Harms, editor at International Journal of Esports. Wow, that's a very suitable title right there. And co-author of multiple research papers exploring cheating in cycling esports. He has this to say about the big spin. Oh, perfect. Nice time for a break. First, I'm always pleased to see new and unique ways to get more people active. I agree. I'm on that side completely. But we cannot ignore the physical and mental health benefits of exercising at an individual level or with a community of friends. From my current role, I'm unaware of any other online or in-person sport or platform requiring physical effort to gamble. This event may be the first esport with some form of physical effort leading to loot boxes, loot crates, or skin-style awards for its users. Aw, thanks, Ivany. Blush. I don't try. It's my own damn fault. It's my own damn fault, and I understand it. I don't try. Too many bikes to ride. If you think there's a sign, don't pass it up. Maybe you'll help some hot cyclists shake. Yeah, one day. Yeah, Beer Bear. I'll be scoping it out. I'll be evaluating on a 1 to 10 basis how pretty the person is who's pulled over on the side of the road, which will solely dictate the response I have. 8 and above, though, they get left on the side of the road. You gotta realize that the 8s and above, they're psychotic, and you don't go near that. You just stay away. That's what we refer to as the unicorn zone. It doesn't actually exist. No, there you go, Flight. It's the unicorn zone. 8 and above. Zwift and Twitch aren't the easiest dating platforms. I know. One day. What I really need to do is I just need to invest more times in bibs no bibs and make that a reality, and then use the algorithm to make it so that I match with everybody. Huge brain play. Funny enough, you can also ride people. Oh, Barty. Something I'm trying to figure out. Does sound nice though. We're an amazing group of individuals. That is a statement. We are a group of individuals. Yes, amazing. I mean amazing group. Sorry. Sounds like these researchers should ride their bikes more. They have too much free time on their hands. Probably based. I think that's probably a based opinion. If you're too tired from riding your bike, you don't have time to think about these things that don't matter because they have nothing to do with riding your bike. All right, anyway. Back from the distraction. Okay. Richardson reiterates the physical risk and the potential of harmful habituation, suggesting monitoring to avoid the out-of-control pursuit of luxury or rare digital awards. Monitor. Self-awareness, guys. Have a little self-awareness, why don't ya? The organizers could cap the number of bets, rides a user can place to mitigate the likelihood of harm. Promote safe fitness and practices and foster harm reduction principles. I disagree with that. I think we need to be responsible for our own actions and not have it be regulated into effect all the time. Rules can be important. Rules can be important, guys, but like at the negative effects of removing your critical thinking, like, bro, be honest with yourself if you're doing something bad. Don't frickin' placate. Don't lie. Like, they don't need to cap the amount of rides, place restrictions. They don't need to frickin' do that. Y'all just have self-control. I know I don't always have self-control. I understand it's hard. But at the same time, like, self-accountability is so important. You need to be honest and critical with yourself. Ask yourself if that's the right thing. Be willing to change your opinion, change your mind when new evidence comes into play. Like, these things are so discounted in modern education, and it's just such an unfortunate thing. Twitch campaign starts today. Yeah, that'll be my, we'll run a Twitch campaign. Oh, it'll be great. Get Pookie get Pookie a lady. You ride, therefore you are. You don't ride blood sugar spikes, you are not. Facts, man. You did most big spins legit one day, even though you wanted to complete the whole thing. Yeah, exactly, Fauna. Like, you knew you couldn't. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I'll be real, I couldn't have. Without the late joins, I wouldn't have been able to. I think most people wouldn't have been able to. Some of those courses took 13 to 15 spins to get just the course-specific unlock. Like, specifically New York, where I think was the most issue people having unlocking things, I would have immediately been like, screw that, if they told me I had to ride it every single time. Like, I enjoyed it the first few times, but 13 to 15 times in a row, no thank you. Like you're a kid or teenager, mommy and daddy put restrictions on, yeah. Accountability, guys. We all fuck up, it's okay. We all mess up, we all make mistakes, but after that point, if you don't learn from it, that's unfortunately on you or on me. If I don't learn from something, you know, like, it's on me. I can, yeah, of course I can, you know, blame other things, but in the end, it's me. I'm all I got. You can stop anytime, I swear. Bring you back to the Wii, which would say go outside on screen, touch some grass, you nerd. That's funny. Yeah, bring back those days. Teach self-control, teach moderation, teach self-restriction. It makes things so sweet when you actually do get to experience them, when you're not just indulging all the time. Listen to your body and act accordingly. So true, man. Learn from the feelings. If you do something and you feel bad every time you do it, that might mean something, you know? What if outside is a fire or a storm or a war zone and you die? Truth. Very true. Checkmate. All right. Zwift Big Spin endurance exercise, and that's excellent in moderation with a degree of ethical dialogue. You know what's really funny, guys? This has been a topic of this stream a lot recently. It's very cool to see. It's like almost like that 100th monkey effect. I've seen GCN talking about it. Now Zommunique is talking about it. Basically about moderation, about the need to be critically aware of everything you're doing. However, many performance professionals believe anything that encourages exercise, health and wellness, or well-being is positive as long as it's in moderation. Again, everything. As with many addictions, the outcome is largely dependent on the individual's personality. Yep, there will always be outliers and individuals who take things too far, whether willingly or unwillingly. Isn't that the truth? You see that in everything. And they're usually the ones that cause the change, even though they're maybe just the vocal minority. Because the average person's just chilling. They're not voicing they're not being loud. They're not raising rabble all over the frickin' forums and shit. Raising rabble. According to anecdotal reports, a Zwifter has accumulated over 400 in-game jerseys. Marblehead! They called out frickin' Marblehead here. And logs 1,000 kilometers riding each week to discover unique events for unlocking more. Uh-oh, guys, Marblehead is a case study for this addiction, Zwift addiction. Ha! We know who they're talking about. We know. The American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Medical Disorders, utilized by mental health professionals for diagnosing mental disorders, includes descriptions of internet gaming addiction since 2013. Marble, the case study for esports addiction. John Doe. Or Brian Doe. Studies indicate a relatively low incidence where acknowledging definition and measurement limitations. Researchers attribute 23 non-violent deaths to internet gaming disorder between 2002 and 2021. 23. In 20 years? 23 people in 20 years? I guess it's good they bring it up. Sport and exercise scientist and frequent content contributor Andy Turner acknowledges the balance between risk and reward. Some riders feel a pressing need to complete events to unlock new items, sometimes at a cost of training and even performance. While there are personality types for whom this behavior can become detrimental, for the majority, the event serves as an excellent means of increasing activity levels and engagement. And I think that is the biggest take home. They better not freaking regulate those things. Give people a little bit of independence. He's not the only one. Much to the joy of the majority of users, the team at Zwift and Snook agree. We want to continue to keep the big tours feeling fresh, but the reaction to the Zwift Big Spin has been overwhelmingly positive. So watch this space. And then about Chris. So what do y'all think? Very interesting. Chris does very well written articles, in my opinion.